Alright, here I'm making the Piperade for the Salmon and Piperade that Marco makes. And I had actually bought all these groceries online, and so I accidentally bought the world's smallest tomatoes. I only had 3, but I'm gonna make it work. And basically what I'm doing is I am taking the skins off the tomatoes and the ribs, saving those along with any of the pulp. And then on a separate little bowl, I add the what he calls the tomato petals, or like the cheeks. And after that, I take the core out of a white onion and I cut it into thin slices. And I also do the same for the garlic. And then I add a little bit of tomato puree into the skins and pulp mixture. And the last thing it needs are the bell pepper ribs and skins. And now this part he doesn't show in the video, but he gives some instructions in the PDF where he deep fries these bell peppers. And deep frying bell peppers to make piperade is probably it's probably way too cumbersome for most people. I think to get a similar effect, you could toast the bell peppers on a dry pan like in Mexican cooking, and then do the same step of covering them with cling wrap or a Ziploc bag and letting them steam. But here I just deep fried my bell peppers, and I of course punctured the bell peppers so they don't explode while they're in the oil. And I just finished when the outside is dark and blistered, and I drained it actually on top of this oil splatter, and then they went straight into a Ziploc bag. And then after the bell peppers were completely cooled down, I cut them open, threw away the stem, and took out the ribs and skins and put them in the tomato skins and pulp mixture. The rest I just sliced and set aside. And to start the piperade, I fried the onions and garlic in a pretty hot pan. And I was so tired at this point that I accidentally put the other onion half in the mixture. This is the same day I made the lamb noodles, so I was very tired. And I swear I bought fresh thyme here. I made it such an important point to buy fresh herbs, and I did not have the fresh thyme. I only had the fresh bay leaf. Marco must be so disappointed in me. And I panicked here because I also forgot to blend the sauce. And Marco talked about being prepared, having discipline, focus. And I have none of that here. I will never be a 3-star Michelin chef. And on top of that, I overcooked my onions, and so I thought this sauce was going to be horrible. I did my final seasoning of salt and paprika and gave it a taste. And I experienced the most amazing, slightly sweet, smoky, strong pepper and tomato flavor. I take it back. I'm the best that ever did it. I'm opening a 3-star restaurant that only sells piperade. You don't even get the salmon. I'm sorry I ever doubted piperade being bad, Marco. I thought this was gonna be a terrible, terrible dish that only French people would like, but this is amazing. It was a moment of weakness and ignorance. Marco, I'm sorry. I planned to make the salmon at this point, but it was already 9 p.m. and I was tired from making the lamb noodles early that day. I wasn't particularly hungry either because I must have eaten like a pound and a half lamb shoulder for lunch. So I packed away the piperade, and Marco said it tastes better the next day anyway, so must be fate. And just so I eat something for dinner, I actually ate some cereal that my friend gave me with some oat milk. Following day, I cut up some lemon and some basil, and some of my basil was rotten, so I just didn't have as much basil as Marco. And I just cut it into pretty thick pieces. Now we get to the salmon. Because I tried to make the lamb dish and all of these BBC Maestro dishes, spent a lot of money on groceries. I spent over $200 on groceries. This is the most I've ever spent in a week. I cheaped out on salmon, and I regret it now because I did not expect the piperade to taste this good. Had I known, I would have went in person to the store and got my salmon. This does not even look or taste like salmon. It's super red. It almost tastes like a bad trout. And just like Marco, I salt the salmon and I cook it in a pan with a lot of oil. And you basically want to cook skin side down 90% of the way through, and then flip the salmon. And because I don't have a non-stick, it did stick to my cast iron pan. And unfortunately, this looks horrible. But Marco says it's not about the appearance of food, it's about the eating. And this salmon was the worst salmon I've ever had in my life. And just like Marco, I finished the dish off with some lemon juice, olive oil, basil, and crystal salt. You could see it if I actually filmed it. The piperade was still amazing. I didn't eat all the salmon, but I ate all of the piperade. I wish I spent more money on the salmon. That's my fault for being a cheapskate. Anyways, it was very fun making this dish. It was very, very tiring, but I hope I too inspired someone else to try and make piperade, but maybe with better salmon. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and have a nice rest of your day.